Hi, my name is Aisha, and welcome to One Elder Speaks. What I wanted to talk to you about today is a practice that I put into place a long time ago, and it's a practice that I have to maintain. I'm going to recommend that you do the same, and I'm going to tell you that this is a practice of forgiveness. When I was younger, and when I realized that I really had a problem and I needed to go to therapy and I needed to seek something out for my mental health, um, I want to tell you about the circumstances I was in. I felt a lot of anger. I felt a lot of resentment. I felt a lot of hate towards myself, really. Depression is anger turned inwards. Um, and I didn't really feel anything good. There wasn't any joy going on. There wasn't any, I could still have a good time, but it wasn't coming from within. It was whatever was going on outside of me and that sort of thing. I was sitting on a couch and somebody was saying, I think I was saying, well, I don't care. And I didn't, by the way. I mean, I was really divorced from any kind of real true emotions. And they said, let's see, and then I heard a voice in my head said, even if something happened to your mother, you wouldn't care. And that was it took me aback, because that's not something that I'm going to say to myself, when I'm going, I don't care. You know, that's not something that I would have thought. I really think that was a communication from my guides, kind of telling me, pay attention. It's time. And I knew that that was correct, number one. And I also knew that I needed to fix that, because that wasn't what I wanted for my life. That wasn't who I wanted to be, and that wasn't, where I wanted my emotional state to be. And so I decided at that point to go to therapy. And one of the biggest things that they tell you is you need to learn to forgive all the people that have trespassed against you. If you want to go back to the biblical kind of way of saying it, but anybody who has caused you grief or sorrow or sadness or pain over time, you need to forgive them, and also you need to learn to forgive yourself. And these, when you use a practice of forgiveness, you open up your heart chakra and you allow yourself to feel all those things that you felt so long ago. And you allow that you're going to feel those things, and you allow that you are going to you kind of just allow those feelings to just kind of flow freely. You don't stop them up. You don't freak out about it. You just say, yes, that was a painful time in my life. Yes, I was in pain at that time. And you have to feel those things again. And for me, I was a woman. We were allowed to cry. I just bawled my eyes out until I was spent. Best thing ever. I love doing that. And then you come to a point where, where you kind of have to understand that, we're still people. Anybody who's made you angry or hurt you or anything like that, they're still a person. Even the worst of the worst of the worst human being is still energetically your brother or your sister, and worthy of forgiveness. And I know that sounds crazy. I understand it sounds crazy. But I have to tell you that it's the only thing that I find that's, I don't know, I just feel like it's so important that we learn how to forgive, especially the people who we love, especially the people that are in our lives that hell, everybody, If we can learn how to forgive, we can beat all this meanness and all this divisiveness and all this, judgmental BS. We can beat all of it if we all learn to forgive one another, if we all practice forgiveness. And you may say somebody's not deserving. Well, they're alive and they're breathing, and energetically they're your brother or they're your sister. And if they're doing awful things to people, they're in pain too. If they are hurting, if they are killing, if they are maiming, they're in pain, and they need a healing too. And they're not getting it, obviously. They're still, in that energetic place. Probably the hardest thing is learning to forgive yourself. So that's, definitely something that you want to do on a maintenance program on a real regular basis. But if you can manage that, then the emotions can flow through. The joy, the love, the happiness, you allow all that other stuff in. You freed up all that, bitterness and anger and resentment, and you're allowing for other things to come in. The joy of life, the happiness. And when I say forgiveness, I don't mean you have to hang out with this person, because you don't. We all need boundaries in our life. And if somebody is sad and sick and in pain enough to where they're trying to cause everybody else pain, they need to not be around me. I'm not interested at all. And I've told people, I love you, but we're not going to hang out together. It's just not going to happen. So I will not allow myself to be abused anymore. I don't abuse myself. I certainly am not going to allow somebody else to abuse me. The last thing I kind of wanted to bring to this video was I was watching a video of people that were killers, and they were confessing, and they were very matter-of-fact confessing. They were very dead inside emotionally. And when I remember myself back in the day, that's where I was at. I was dead inside emotionally. I killed all those feelings because I didn't know how to deal with the pain that I was having, and I didn't know how to deal with any of it. Once I learned how to forgive other people, once I learned how to forgive myself, once I learned to forgive God, it all got better. Everything got better, and it stays better. I can feel now. I don't just have sadness, I have joy. I don't just have, pain, I have pleasure. And I also, I make sure that I try to appreciate everything in my life. What's interesting is once you know that part, once you've lived in that pain for, stewed in it and all that other stuff, it's like when you come out of it, you can really have a serious gratitude in regards to life. Because you look at it and it's like, man, this is beautiful. I can do something with this. I can be somebody here. I can be somebody that I admire and that I respect. The anger and the hatred and the bitterness that we carry around inside of us is a sickness. It's a big black sickness. And if you can move beyond that and learn to forgive other people, and learn to forgive yourself, you will cleanse yourself of that dark sickness. And you'll feel lighter, and the world will feel lighter, and everybody will feel lighter to you. You'll be able to be gracious and have a lot of gratitude toward life. And that's just such a lighter place to be. Man, yeah, and thanks for listening.